Hello everyone, welcome again to the class of CA Foundation where we are discussing a very important chapter of correlation regression. So far in this chapter correlation regression I have done two sessions. In first session I have spoken about Carl Pearson coefficient of correlation method. Okay, and next session we have discussed about Spearman rank correlation coefficient method. So, two important topic: Carl Pearson correlation coefficient calculation, okay, and Spearman rank correlation method. Both this I have covered in last two sessions, and the content what I used was primarily for the basic knowledge purpose for the students who are not very well versed with the concept of bivariate distribution or the calculation of covariance or correlation. Okay, so in this session I'll primarily focus on the content what is given by ICAI. So going again, and kind of this session would be kind of revision to the first two sessions what I have done. So basically, correlation and regression we study in bivariate data. Bivariate, here you can understand variate means variable, bi means two. So here we are talking about two variables. So when we are talking about the two variables, the relationship what these two variables holds with each other. So either the two variable can be independent in nature, and the relationship what we hold that we study under correlation. And when we talk about regression, that is about the relationship between two variable where one variable is dependent on the other variable. We'll focus on regression probably in the next session. So when we talk about correlation is basically the relationship between two independent variable which we represent with the symbol r, and the value of this r is lies between -1 to +1. Okay, so your correlation can be negative. Negative means possibly when the two independent variable are showing reverse movement. You can give an example of the change in gold price with the change in equity market, or positively correlated. Positively correlated, maybe you can say maybe the performance of TCS with respect to the performance of Infosys, or maybe your marks in maths with related to your marks in statistics. So when two variables are positively correlated, they moves in the same direction, and when they are negatively correlated, they moves in the opposite direction. So there are different methods are there to calculate correlation. You can use scatter diagram, you can use Carl Pearson method, you can use Spearman rank correlation method, or you can use this concurrent deviation method. Okay, about regression we'll study in the next session. So this all you can pause the video anytime and you can read what is there in this content. Primarily in introduction, they are talking about univariate data and its relationship with the bivariate data. Going further, here this like you can use a scatter diagram to represent this data 15,3. If you have basic knowledge of coordinate geometry or two-dimensional graphical form, so you can take one variable, maybe in marks in statistics in x-axis, marks in mathematics on y-axis, and then you can put points where these values lies, maybe 15,13, so like that, and then you get a dotted relationship. And if you try to draw a straight line on that dotted relationship, okay, that straight line will tell you the strength or the extent of correlation between the two variable. Okay, so that is one way, a scatter diagram is one of the method to find out the correlation between the two variables. So if two variables are positively correlated, okay, like if the r is +1, then your graph will be like this, and if your r is -1, then your graph will be like this. Okay, +1 -1, but that chance is very less. Going further on the data, you can just read what is given. Positively correlated, negatively correlated, already I have spoken about. Then these are the methods. Scatter diagram I have mentioned. This is positive correlation, perfect positive correlation, okay, perfect negative correlation. Here you can say no correlation. Okay, so then Carl Pearson method. when we talk about Carl Pearson method, in order to work on Carl Pearson method, you should know this very important formula that the covariance, if the two variables are there, x and y, so the covariance between x and y is equal to r of xy. R basically means coefficient of correlation between the two variable into standard deviation of x into standard deviation of y. Okay, where the formula of covariance between x and y is summation of xy by n minus x bar into y bar. This is the one formula of covariance. The other formula of covariance is summation of x minus x bar into y minus y bar by n. Talking about standard deviation formula is summation of x square by n minus x bar square, or other formula of standard deviation is summation of x minus x bar whole square by n. So by using these formulas into the equation, you can find the formula of R, and that is what the Carl Pearson formula of coefficient of correlation. Covariance, as such, you can calculate mathematically. I told you the formula, but as such, if you come to the interpretation, like if the two variable have a covariance of zero point 0.6, what does it mean? It does not give you as such any clear cut mathematical indication. For that, you have to find the r value, then you have to divide the covariance with the standard deviation. If you divide the covariance with the standard deviation, if you divide the covariance with the standard deviation of x, standard deviation of y, you will get clear cut mathematical value which we called as r, and that r will talk about the relationship between the two variable. Okay, so these formulas what I told you is already written here, and then by inserting everything into this formula, okay, by putting this covariance formula in the numerator and standard deviation formula in the denominator, you will get the r value, r formula, which r formula, r of xy is n summation of xy minus summation of x into summation of y divide y under square root n summation of x square minus summation of x ka square, then n summation of y square minus summation of y ka square. So this will give you the formula of r. This formula, what you get, this is the formula of Carl Pearson coefficient of correlation formula. Okay, and you will get a numerical also in exam based on this formula. Okay, so these are the properties of correlation coefficient. You can go through these properties of correlation coefficient. You will get uh, numericals based on the equation form of correlation coefficient questions, where remember this relationship between if imagine if your two variables are given as xy and other set of two variables are given in the form of uv, then remember this relationship, that the two set of relation what you have in the term of uv. So r of xy is equal to b into d by modulus of b into modulus of d r of uv. Okay, so basically, B and D are the slope of the coefficient when you get when you are representing the variable in the term of equation. If the two set of equations are given, if both of them have same sign, okay, either positive or negative, then r of xy will be equal to r of uv. If they have opposite sign, then the answer would be different. I'll show you with an example, then you'll understand in better way. Yeah, we have a numerical here. Yeah, you can see this. So here, the R of XY is zero point 0.8, and we have to find the R of UV. Now see the sign, what is sign which is attached here? This is plus and this is plus. Okay, this is plus. Just see the sign of U and X and then compare with V and Y. Both sign is plus. Okay, same sign. So r of xy is 0.8, so r of uv will also be 0.8. Okay, here see the sign. Here the sign is negative. Here the sign u and x is negative. Here the sign is positive. So the r of uv here would be minus zero point 0.8. Okay, again see the sign. Here the sign is negative. Here the sign is negative. So r of uv would be zero point 0.8. Here the sign is plus. Here the sign is minus. So the r of uv would be minus zero point 0.8. So just see this same thing. So just focus on the very simple. If instead of telling you this mathematical formulas and all, what you have to do basically. So here, if I give you this equation, so 2u plus 3x plus 4 is equal to 0, and then this is 4v plus 16y plus 11 is equal to 0. So basically what you have to do, you have to write u is equal to minus 3x minus 4 by 2. Here you have to write v is equal to minus 16y minus 11 by 4, and then you have to find the b. What is b here? The value which is attached to the x. And here what is d? D is the value which is attached to y. Okay, now you get b, you get d. Modulus of b would be 3 by 2, and modulus of d would be 16 by 4. Now here in this formula, r of xy, here b and d, if you understand, b is there in numerator, b is there in denominator, d is there in numerator, d is there in denominator. But only difference is that numerator one, you'll accept the sign, whatever is the sign. So the b sign is minus 3 by 2, and d sign is minus 16 by 4. And here modulus of b would be 3 by 2, and modulus of d would be 16 by 4. So here if you notice, this and this and this and this will cancel, and if both of them have same sign, then this will be plus positive. You're getting it. But if they have opposite sign, then the value would be negative. Otherwise rest other things are same only. So I hope you're getting the concept. Okay, so instead of getting too much into mathematical intricacies, what you should do, you just focus on the sign which is attached to the here u and x, and focus on the sign which is attached to v and y, and thereby you will understand how to get the answer. And this bivariate frequency distribution numericals and all you can ignore. For CA foundation level, these numericals are not important for us. Okay. Even in these kind of questions, they are too lengthy, and you can ignore these kind of questions. If you want, you can go through these questions, but I frankly suggest don't practice these questions because they tend to be lengthy. I don't mind doing these numericals, but in exam, if suppose if they're coming also, you can ignore these questions. If you start solving these questions and all, it will consume lot of your time. And anyway, all the questions in exam carries the equal marks. So try to avoid these kind of questions, this frequency distribution, bivariate frequency distribution questions and all. If you ignore, it would be good for you. If you start solving and all, it would be very lengthy. Okay, now here if you see in this question, what they're asking you to compute the correlation coefficient between the x and y, the variable. They have given you the n is 10. They have given you the n is 10. Here, this is the formula, and they have given you your n is 10, and then they're telling you uh, sum of xy is 220, sum of xy is 220, and then sum of x square is 200, sum of x square is 200, sum of y square is 262, sum of y square is 262, sum of x is 40, sum of x is 40, sum of y is 50. They've given you this data. Okay, now you have to find the r value, so you can just insert these values in the equation. N is 10, sum of xy is 220, minus sum of x into sum of y, this whole divide by n is 10, sum of x square 200 minus summation of x 40 square, then n is 10 into sum of y square 262 minus sum of y ka square. Just solve this, you will get the answer. Calculator anyway is allowed to you. If you solve it, you will get the answer. Answer should be between -1 to +1. You will get the answer as 0.91. Fine. So if you get a numerical here like that, you might get a question where you get discrete values like this. So if you get the discrete values like this, what you need for the calculation, you need n. What is n? N is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. N is 6. Okay. Then what else you need? You need sum of x, y. So multiply x into y and do the sum. If you do that, you will get the sum as 166. Okay. Then what else you need? You need sum of x. So just do the individual sum of this x. That is 29. Sum of y is 39. Okay. When you multiplied x and y, their sum is 166. Then do the square of x. And the sum of that is 163. Then do the square of y. And the sum is 279. Just insert everything into the formula. You will get the answer as minus 0.93, negatively correlated. Fine. Then imagine if you get the question like this, and here if I'm asking you find the correlation coefficient between the two variables are given and their values are also given. So what you can do, you can use the formula, right? Here your x value, y value is given, and here your x value, y value is given. Okay, and then this is your x and this is your y. Your x is 60, 55, 62, then 56, then 62, 60, 55, 62, 56, then 62, 64, 70, 64, 70, 54, and then y is 31, 28, then 26, then 24, then 30, 35, then 28, 24. So x and y values are given. We can count what is n. We can find n. N is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. N is 8. Okay. We can find sum of x. Okay. Just add it. You'll get sum of x. We can find sum of y. Just add y. You'll get the sum of y. We can multiply x and y and find the sum. Okay. We can find the square of x and find the sum. We can do the square of y and we can find the sum. All this we can do, right? Okay, that is a one way of doing. The other way, what you can do, guys, here instead of x you can write a variable u. Okay, if I write a variable u and I say that u is equal to x, here if I write u is equal to x minus 60, for example. Okay, so what I did, I subtracted all these values from 60. So if u is x minus 60, if u is x minus 60, so this would be 60 minus 60, 0, 55 minus 60 minus 5, 62 minus 62, 56 minus 60 minus 4, 62 minus 62, 64 minus 64, 70 minus 60, 10, 54 minus 60 minus 6. And then if I write another variable called y, if I write another variable here v is equal to y minus, and here I wrote v is equal to y minus 30. 30. So 31 minus 30 is 1, 28 minus 30 is minus 2, 26 minus 30 is minus 4, 24 minus 30 is minus 6, 30 minus 30 is 0, 35 minus 30 is 5, 28 minus 30 is minus 2, 24 minus 30 is minus 6. So what I did, I just introduced these two variables u and v, and this is my u. My u is 0, minus 5, 2, minus 4, 2, 4, 10, minus 6. My v is 1, minus 2, minus 4, minus 6, 0, 5, minus 2, minus 6. And if I find the r of uv, okay, by using the formula, if I use the formula r of uv is n summation of uv minus summation of u into summation of v divide by under the square root n summation of u square minus summation of u ka square, and then n summation of v square minus summation of v ka square. If I use this formula, I'll get the answer of r of uv, and that r of uv what I'm getting here, that will be equal to the r of xy, which I get by using this data. So either I work on this data or either I work on this data, my answer won't change. So here I subtracted u as x minus 60 and v as y minus 30. Instead of this, in the book they have done u is equal to x minus 62, v as y minus 30. Doesn't matter, if you calculate, you'll get the answer as you'll get the answer as 0.48 only. I hope that is very important thing you should understand. So for exam point of view also, no need to work on complicated data. You can make the data easy by subtracting all these values by the some common value, and that will serve your objective. Okay, here like I told you, don't try to do these questions. If you want, you can. It's up to you. You can go through these questions, but again, it would be time consuming. Here they've given the coefficient of correlation between x and y for 20 items. Till standard deviation, all that is fine, but here at this level it's very difficult. Means it will time consuming. Okay, n is 20, and the r of xy is zero point 0.4. R of xy is zero point 0.4, and then arithmetic mean and standard deviation of x and y is known to be 12 and 15. And okay, so for x and y, arithmetic mean and standard deviation. So arithmetic mean and standard deviation of x and y. So arithmetic mean and standard deviation of x is 12, and arithmetic mean I think is 12 and 15, and standard deviation is 3 and 4. Later on, it is found that pair of 20 comma 15 is wrongly taken as 15 comma 20. So one pair 15 comma 20 is wrong pair, and it should be 20 comma 15. Okay. So you need to correct this pair, and then you have to find the R value. Okay. So here what you can do, you know the formula of covariance of xy is r of xy into standard deviation of x into standard deviation of y. So you can find covariance of xy. Covariance of xy would be zero point 0.4 into standard deviation is 3 into 4. So covariance of xy is a 12. 12 forza, 12 forza is 48, 4.8. You got the covariance between xy is 4.8. This is incorrect covariance. This is incorrect covariance. Now what you can do, covariance formula is summation of xy by n minus x bar y bar, and that you got as 4.8. Okay. So here summation of xy, uh, we don't know summation of xy, we don't know summation of xy. N is what? N we got is 20. Okay, x bar mean is given 20, 15 comma 15 comma 20, I think. 12 comma 15 is equal to 4.8. So what I can do, sum of xy by 20, 15 into 12 is what? 30, and then 180. 180, bring this side, you'll get 184.8. So sum of xy, incorrect sum of xy, you'll get 184.8 into 20. You'll get 3696. 3696. This is incorrect sum of xy. You get incorrect sum of xy. Then I can find once I get the incorrect sum of xy. So if you want to find the correct sum of xy, what you have to do, from 3696, you have to subtract the incorrect pair. Incorrect pair was what? Incorrect pair was 15 comma 20. 15 comma 20 and add the correct pair, that is 20 comma 15. I don't think your answer will change. Your answer will be still 3696 only. So the correct sum of xy is also 3696 only. Okay, then you have to find incorrect sum of x square, incorrect sum of y square. So you know the variance formula of x is sum of x square, sum of x square by n minus x bar ka square. So find the incorrect sum variance. Standard deviation of x is 3. So the variance would be 3 ka square 9 is equal to incorrect sum of x square by n. N is what? N is 20 na? N is 20 minus mean of x is, what is the mean of x? Mean of x is 12. So mean of x is 12. 12 ka square is 144. So 144 plus 9 is 153. 153 20s are 153 into 2. So you will get 3060. 3060 is the incorrect sum of x square. So you have to correct it. So how will you get the correct sum of x square? That is 3060 minus the value, which is at 15 square minus, and add the 20 square. So you will get the correct sum of x square. Okay, like the same way you have to find the correct sum of y square. So 3060 and then you just correct it. Okay, so correct it, find the correct sum of x square 3060 minus 225 plus 400. Like the way correct this now, like the way you find this incorrect sum of x square, like the same way you have to find incorrect sum of y square. And how will you use the same formula for the y, and then subtract 20 square and add 15 square there, and like then you have to find incorrect sum of xy. In sum of xy to we corrected, so in the formula we need sum of xy we corrected, x square y square we corrected. Okay, then x and y mean also we can correct. Okay, mean formula is sum of x by n is equal to mean. So we can correct this mean also. So incorrect sum of x would be n is 20 and mean is given as 12. So mean is given as 12. So the incorrect sum of x is 300. From 300, subtract this value, subtract the value of 15 and add 20. So from 300 minus 15 and add 20. Similarly, you can correct the sum of y also. So all values in the formula you have to correct. N to we cannot correct. Sum of xy we corrected. Then minus sum of x, sum of y, sum of x, sum of y. Then under the square root, and sum of x square we corrected, minus sum of x we have corrected, then n sum of y square we have corrected, and sum of y ka square we have corrected. Then again correct everything and put into this formula, you will get the formula. So again it's very complicated. Not complicated is not the correct word, but it is very much time consuming, and that much time if you really want to spend, you are most welcome. But I really don't suggest you that you go through this. If you really want very detailed explanation of this question, I can do that. But frankly, I don't want to do that because it is not required for CA Foundation exam purpose. Okay, if you want, I can make a separate video only on this numerical, and it will take 15 to 20 minutes. So I just gave you the steps how you can do. Every time what you have to do, you have to find first the incorrect these values. You have to find this incorrect values of this incorrect this as per the data, and then you have to correct it. Again you have to find the incorrect these values, these all incorrect values you have to find. Okay, and then you have to correct it. Okay, so for correcting, for you finding this, you have to use covariance formula, covariance of xy formula. And here you will find this sum of xy and then correct it. For sum of x, sum of y, how will you correct? Use the mean formula. Mean formula, you know that sum of x by n. Mean of y is sum of y by n. So first find the sum of x, sum of y, which is incorrect, and then correct it. Okay, similarly for sum of x square, sum of y square, you have to use the variance formula. Sum of x square by n minus x bar ka square. And like this way, you have to find every time the incorrect value of incorrect sum of xy, incorrect sum of x, incorrect sum of y, incorrect sum of x square, incorrect sum of y square, and then correct it, because the value which was 15 comma 20, it was supposed to be 20 comma 15 or whatever. 15 comma 20 was an incorrect value that you have to correct with 20 comma 15. Okay, so that you have to do, and once you have corrected all sum of xy, sum of x square, sum of y square, sum of x, sum of y, then you put in the r formula and get the correct r of xy. That is what you are supposed to do there. So that is unnecessary time consuming. So going further and all, if you solve it, you will get the correct r of xy is 0.31, which really I don't suggest you that you should do all this. And this already I explained. Then Spearman rank correlation method already we discussed. The formula of R of xy is 1 minus 6 sum of d square by n into n square minus 1, where d is the difference in rank. So basically, Spearman rank correlation method we use for the qualitative data, and when we have the datas which is arranged, we give them rank based on descending order. Then we find the difference of rank and we do the square, and whenever there's a tie of the rank, then this is the formula what you have to use. I have used this formula called symbol m. You can hear the symbol t is given, doesn't matter. So basically, when the Spearman rank correlation formula, your formula is 1 minus 6 sum of d square plus adjustment factor divide by n into n square minus 1. This is the formula, where the formula of adjustment factor is summation of m into m square minus 1 by 12. Okay, you just forget this adjustment factor formula and all. Just remember that if any value is repeated twice, then the adjustment factor would be zero point 0.5. Just remember this. Forget about these formula and all. If any value is repeated thrice, then the adjustment factor will be 2. That's it. Can you remember this? I hope you can easily remember this, right? Then if you put in place of m, if you put here 2, you will get zero point 0.5. If you put 3, you will get 2. And so just put the value into the equation, you will get the answer. Fine. So here, like here, they've given sales and advertisement, and then they're asking us to compute the coefficient of rank correlation. So whatever the data is given, we'll give them rank. Like the we have given rank here of sales. So the which value will be given rank one, which is the highest. Highest is 95. So 95 is rank one. Second highest is 90. So that would be rank two. 85 is rank three. Okay. Then 82 would be rank four. Okay. Then 80 would be rank five, then 75 would be rank 6. So like the same way, you've given rank to the sales, you have given rank to the advertisement, the highest value is 8. 8 would be rank 1, 7 would be rank 2, 6 would be rank 3, 5 would be rank 4, like this. And then you find the difference of the rank, and then you did the square of the difference, and the summation of that value you got as 4. That value you will put in this formula, 1 minus 6 sum of d square by n into n square minus 1, and that has given you the R value. R is the Spearman rank correlation coefficient value. Clear, everyone? Fine. So when there's a tie of rank also, I told you, when there's a tie, like here, you can see there's a tie of 75, 75, 65, 65. 65 has appeared three times. Okay, so you have to see where there's a tie is happening, like 80 is rank 1, then 62 is rank 2, 60 is rank 3, 60 is rank 3, then 56 is rank 4, and there's a tie between 5th rank and 6th rank. So if there's a tie between 5th and 6th rank, do the average of 5 and 6. Average of 5 and 6 is 5.5, 5.5. To give them rank 5.5, 5.5. If you have any doubt, I have discussed this in my last video of Spearman rank correlation. There, if you go through that, you'll understand. Similarly, for stat marks, 90 is rank 1. Then the tie between rank 2 and rank 3. 75 is and 75 repeated two times. So the tie between 75 and 75, second and third rank, give them average 2.5, 2.5. Okay, then three ranks are done. Then there's a tie between 4, 5, and 6. So find the average of 4, 5, 6. Average of 4, 5, 6 is 5. So 65, all the 65 is given the rank 3, 5. Then total you have done with how many rank? Your total you have done with 3 plus 3, 6 ranks. So the 50 would be the seventh rank. And then you use the formula. But here you'll find the adjustment factor because you have this value called 50 which repeated twice. So the adjustment factor of 50 would be zero point 0.5 because repeated twice. Then you have this value called 75 which repeated twice. So again the adjustment factor of 75 would be zero point 0.5 and the adjustment factor of 65 would be 2. So adjustment factor of 65 is 2, 75 is zero point 0.5 and 50 is zero point 0.5. So 2 plus zero point 0.5, zero point 0.5 is 3. So the adjustment factor here would be 3. So your sum of d square is 44.5, 44.5 plus 3. Okay, do that and put into the formula. So 1 minus 6 into 44.3 plus 3 divide by n into n square minus 1, you'll get the R value. Clear everyone? Now here if you see this example 17.12, here if you see the example 17.12, what they're given, the n is 8. They've given you n is 8 and the sum of d square is 50. Sum of d square is 50 and what they're asking you the r value. So r value you can find, right? 1 minus 6 into sum of d square is 50. 8 into 8 square minus 1. Solve this, you will get the answer. Everyone, you can do this, right? So 1 minus 300 divide by 8 into 63. Solve this. You all have calculator. You solve this, you can get the answer. When you do it, you will get the answer as zero point 0.4. Clear? Similarly, next question, you have to find the n value. For this kind of question where you have to find the n value, okay, that is better instead of doing trial and error method, use options. In case if you're getting this kind of question in exam, use option, you will get the answer much more better way. Otherwise, you have to use trial and error method or you need to know advanced level or better level of mathematics. So as a CA foundation students, I really don't expect your mathematical skills would be that much sharp. For these kind of question, use options. Okay, so like if I'm giving you here, here the r value is zero point 0.5, r value is 0.5, 1 minus 6 into sum of d square. Sum of d square is 82.5, 82.5 divide by n into n square minus 1. Okay, so here if I do 82.5, 82.5 into 6, so this is 15, 1 carry, 48, 49, 495. So 495 by n cube minus n is zero point 0.5. Zero point 0.5, let me write as 1 by 2. So here I'll get is n cube minus n is 495 into 2. 495 into 2 if I do 19, this is 990. So n cube minus n. So if n is 10, so here I got this equation. Okay, now n cube minus n minus 990 is equal to 0. So if you are really good with maths, if you are really good with math, solve this cubical equation. Otherwise, what I'll suggest you use options. In your option, there would be one n. In one of the option, your n would be 10. If you insert n is equal to 10, so 10 cube is 1000 and 1000 minus 10 is 990 and you'll get the answer n is equal to 10. So instead of using advanced mathematical skills, if you just use your common sense or you use the option, you'll get the answer very easily. Okay. Similarly, if you have understood the previous two questions, you can easily solve this question. Again, incorrect value and all. You got incorrect value by mistake, then you have to correct it. For correcting it, again, you have to insert in the formula. You have to correct, you have to find sum of incorrect, you have to find incorrect sum of d square, which is you are getting here is 33. Then you correct it by removing the incorrect entry difference was 7, so minus 7 square, and correct it by adding the correct difference square, that is 5. So if you do it, you will get the corrected sum of d square. That when you put into the equation, you will get the correct r value, which is 0.95. So I hope you have understood what all we have done. So this session was primarily a recap of whatever I have done in last two session. Where in first session I did Carl Pearson correlation coefficient calculation. In second session I did Spearman rank correlation coefficient. So whatever I have done, I did from some separate book, which was I feel is much more better for teaching correlation regression, and then I have connected that with the CA foundation content. So I hope you have understood what all I have done. In next session, I'll take a very small session on concurrent deviation method. Okay, and that I'll do in next session. Thank you, everyone.